So you may know the difference between a ribeye and a sirloin, but move over beef.
Well, today is all about the pig. We are taking you to the local pig in the river market, where first up we learn about the different cuts of pork. So it's time for your Meat 101 on all the different cuts of meat. So if somebody's coming in asking for a pork shoulder, what are they actually getting?
This is a pork shoulder here. This is a whole one. We can cut it down to whatever size you want, whether you want a half a pound or a 15-pound shoulder, you can get this. This is gonna be your pulled pork. Any crock pot meals, a braising cut. It takes a while to cook, but once it does, it's great.
And being from Kansas City, we all love the pulled pork, so that's definitely popular.
We do all love pulled pork.
Okay, so we're looking at a spare rib here. So what is different between a spare rib and maybe a baby back rib?
So a baby back rib's gonna come off of the pork loin, whereas the spare rib comes right here off the belly, as you can see where it was in the past. We like spare ribs here at Local Pig, but you know, it's just total preference. Whoever, if you want more of a tender piece of meat that cooks in a shorter time, you're gonna go for the baby back, whereas this is a longer cook, but it's well worth the payoff.
Oh my gosh, sounds delicious. Now, we're moving on to pork belly, which pit masters seem to love. I see this in so many different recipes.
So here's your belly. This is where your bacon comes from. You can see it right there. But we cure it for 5 days and turn it into bacon, whereas you can put it on a smoker and just have regular pork belly. It's almost the best cut on the pig.
Yeah, a lot of different cuts you can do with that. Now let's talk about pork tenderloin. What can we do here?
Pork tenderloin, I like to do a quick marinade on and just a quick grill. It doesn't take long to cook, it doesn't take long to get nice flavor in, and it's gonna be the most tender piece in the quickest amount of time from the pig.
Okay, a lot of people looking for that tender meat, so that's great to know. We're also looking at pork cheeks, and this is something, you know, I've tried it. I thought it was amazing.
Well, they've become more popular because, in my opinion, this is the best cut on the animal. They do take some more time to cook. It's a low and slow braising cut, but it's going to be the most tender pulled pork you'll ever eat.
Very, very tender. Now, pig wings. I did not know that pigs had wings, so what is this?
So we take the pig wings off the shank, we trim down a lot of the excess and then French the bone on there. So they're like really cute little pork meat pops. They take a little longer to cook as well.
Okay, well that would be amazing to prepare. Now, moving on to the pork chop and boneless pork chop. What's the difference here?
So one has a bone, one doesn't. People will say that the bone gives you a little more flavor, which I agree with. They're just your classic American pork chops.
Well, Sarah says that one of her favorite things is helping people find the best cut of meat for a specific recipe, and all the cuts are unique. In just a bit, we're gonna see how to prepare the perfect pork tenderloin. Well, so now that you've got your smoky beverage and you know the cuts of pork, you may have hand-selected a pork tenderloin to fry up at home. Sarah Breiby from the Local Pig shows us the perfect preparation. So right now we're coming in hot for that pork tenderloin. Sarah here just trimmed off some fat, but what do you do to make sure that it's tender?
I'm gonna actually take this mallet to one chop. So I've got a boneless loin here that I've removed the fat from. I'm gonna cut about a 4 or 5 ounce portion. And then I'm gonna put it under some plastic to keep us nice and safe from all the meat splatter. We just wanna get it nice and flat. So the thinner the better, the more tender it's gonna be. You see how big it gets when I tenderize it and pound it out. So that looks great to me. That's gonna be a really nice, thin, but meaty tenderloin.
And you obviously don't want to make Sarah mad at work because she can take it to it.
Yes.
Okay, and then are we moving on to the breading process?
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw it in this 3-step. It's a very basic breading process. We're going flour to egg to breadcrumbs, and we use a mix of breadcrumbs. I'm also using Campo Lindo eggs for my eggs because we like to keep it local here.
Let's talk about your name, Local Pig, right?
Yeah.
Does that have to do something with all the local farms?
Yeah, so we source all our meat locally as well as the items we sell in shop. So all the cheeses, the bread we use for sandwiches is all local.
So you just started with the flour.
Yeah, so I'm in the flour. You want to keep your hand one dry and one wet. So I'm going to take my dry hand in the flour and put it in the egg. Mix it around a little bit.
You just want to make sure that it's covered?
Yeah, you want it to be covered. So now I'm gonna go onto these breadcrumbs. wet hand in the eggs. And then use your dry hand in the breadcrumb. Normally we brine our tenderloins, so that's where they get all their flavor from. We put buttermilk and some rosemary, black pepper, all that good stuff. So there you have it.
Well, Sarah, that really came together. Do you have any cooking or grilling instructions for it?
Yeah, I would say cook in oil, whether you have a deep fryer or you want to pan fry it on a skillet, 350 for just until it browns up really nicely. It should be cooked all the way through.
Well, and in the next half an hour, we're actually going to see that pork tenderloin get fried up for a very special sandwich called the Big Pig. Get ready for that. Well, the Big Pig,
Yes.
That is quite a name, and without a doubt, it is the biggest sandwich over at Pigwich.
All right, that's the sandwich shop connected to Local Pig, right?
Yeah, so let's take a look at a sandwich that was special enough to bring a tear to my eye. So this sandwich has been getting a lot of buzz, and it could be because there's a lot of meat on it.
There is a lot of meat on it.
So how much, and what are the other toppings?
I'd say there's 3/4 to a pound of meat on it. We've got a full pork tenderloin topped with a 1/3 pound of pulled pork patty that we make. And then we top it off with some andouille, which is like a spicy pepperoni spread.
So let's get to assembling.
All right, let's do it. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this tenderloin. On the grill right now, I've got a pulled pork patty. It's just finishing up. It's a mixture of pulled pork, and ground bacon. And then we're gonna top that with 3 cheeses. Steam that up a little bit, melt the cheese.
And what are the 3 different types of cheese?
It's pepper jack, cheddar, and provolone.
Yum.
All right, so while we're doing that, I'm gonna set up this topper. This is that andouille spread. It's spicy, as you know.
And when she says that, we need a PSA. I tried just a little bit of it and I had to take water.
And this is our house-made barbecue sauce.
And is this more of a sweet flavor?
It is a sweet barbecue
Okay.
sauce. This is our house-made ranch. It's got a rosemary flavor to it. And then these house-made bread and butter jalapeno pickles.
So now I see why this is the crazy menu item. We have this spice coming in. We've got ranch, we've got barbecue sauce, and of course, all of the meat.
All of the meat. Yes, 3 types of pork, that is. So I'm gonna check on this.
Can you eat this whole thing?
Can I?
Well, maybe not you, anybody who walks through the door.
I've seen it done before. It's
Okay.
rare. We serve it cut in half for a reason. It's more of a 2-person or, double meal kind of situation.
Okay.
But I think this pork tenderloin looks pretty good and golden brown. We've got our cheese melted over here. So I'm gonna come on by. This will be waiting for its
And fresh
It's
off
meat
the
chariot,
grill.
if you
Oh,
will.
wow.
So we're gonna just pull this here.
So when you call it a meat chariot, you weren't kidding.
No.
Just nestles in there, the pork tenderloin.
And that's your big pig.
Oh my goodness.
Slice it in half.
Oh.
It's ready to go.
Okay, you saw the size of that sandwich when it was cut in half. I tried like a quarter of it
Yeah.
and I felt full. And that pork tenderloin, I mean, it had a really good crunch to it. And that cheese combo, it was pretty unforgettable.
That's ridiculous. My blood pressure, cholesterol level, and I think heart rate
It's
just started
worth it, Bill.
increasing during that entire segment. That's
Yeah.
insane.
I mean, it was
How is
so
that-
worth it.
How's that
Just
hot
try-
sauce though? The hot.
So, I said this in there, the hot sauce, it has a meat mixture
Mm-hmm.
inside of it, but it is so hot that I had to drink water before, like, we even started filming the segment, because she gave me like a little dab to see what it
Yeah.
was like. And I mean, it was
Did the
a little
ranch
too
cool
much
it
for me.
off when you ate it with the sandwich though?
Yeah, it
Okay.
did help. It did help. That is a good cooling agent
So that's
there.
the Big Pig.
The Big Pig.